War rages on between Israel and Hamas as the U.S. prepares to send troops.
The Maine community is reeling from the lives lost in the horrific shooting last week.
And General Motors has finally reached a tentative deal with the UAW.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm Sydney Jolivet.
And I'm Grace Escobel. As the war between Israel and Hamas continues, there are calls for Israel to allow aid into Gaza, and the U.S. is amplifying its presence in the region. CNN's John Lornick has more.
Roughly 900 American troops are being deployed to the Middle East to provide more protection for U.S. forces and interests overseas, according to the Pentagon.
I can confirm that they are not going to Israel, and that again, they are intended to support regional deterrence efforts and further bolster U.S. force protection capabilities.
The deployed forces are coming from Fort Bliss, Fort Sill, Fort Liberty, and Fort Cavazos.
We're going to continue to communicate with our partners on the importance of civilian safety, but we also recognize Israel's inherent right of self-defense as well.
Israeli military officials say they're preparing for a ground offensive against Hamas following the militant group's fatal attacks on Israel earlier this month.
We are continuing to support Israel's military. Security assistance continues to flow to them as needed almost on a daily basis.
This latest conflict between the Israelis and Palestinians has caused more than 1,400 deaths in Israel and nearly 6,000 in Gaza since the start of the war, according to officials from both sides. Some leaders of the European Union are calling for a humanitarian pause in the war so that much-needed aid can be brought into Gaza.
We're working with partners on the ground to see if we can accelerate and increase the flow of humanitarian assistance in.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Palestinian Red Crescent Society claims that Israel is continuing to deliberately launch airstrike directly next to Al-Quds Hospital. The PRCS says the strikes have caused, quote, extensive damage to hospital apartments and exposed residents and patients to suffocations. Videos from the PRCS show dust clouding hallways in the hospital while some people try to put on face masks. The director of Al-Quds Hospital, Dr. Bashar Murad, says the area of the hospital has been targeted 3 times as of Sunday morning. Video obtained by CNN shows the aftermath of a strike with clouds of dust rising next to the hospital.
Heartbreak and sadness filled the streets of Lewiston, Maine on Saturday as people gathered to mourn the lives lost and pray over those who were injured during last week's mass shooting. 2 vigils were held, and footage shows hundreds of people attending one of the candlelit vigils. Police say gunman Robert Card killed 18 people and wounded 13 others before taking his own life. The shooting occurred at a local bowling alley and a nearby bar. Police are continuing their investigation as they search for a motive for the killings. There is speculation that the shooting was connected to Card's mental health. In the wake of this terrible tragedy, a group of dogs is answering the call to offer comfort and support to those struggling. Reports say this would not be the first time the dogs have provided comfort to victims of mass shootings. CNN's Brianna Borey explains.
It's the dogs. They're just, they have the powers.
3-year-old Zodiac is fresh off a plane from Cleveland, just one of 5 dogs preparing to respond to the mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine. He's part of an organization called Crisis Response Canines, a nonprofit dedicated to providing emotional support in the aftermath of unimaginable situations.
That one moment of happiness and joy instead of everything just being so heavy and sad.
Zodiac's handler, Shirley Graziano, has seen the positive impact of Crisis Canines firsthand, describing the time she comforted a woman in Uvalde, Texas, following the Robb Elementary School shooting.
She said, "I don't speak any English." And I said, "I don't speak any Spanish." And the next thing you know, she's crying on his head, hugging me.
And as for Zodiac's purple tail, there's a reason for that.
We were minding our own business. We walked by and she stopped us and she said, does he have a purple tail? And I said, yes. And she's like, can I ask why? I said, because of what just happened right here. You were in a really bad place, and for these split seconds, he made you think of something else that was happier.
The K-9s reporting for duty will start by visiting first responders and then will attend any vigils and community events. They'll be providing support until Wednesday. And speaking of dogs, I actually have an emotional support puppy, and she refuses to step one paw outside in this weather.
Sydney, I don't blame her. It's cold, it's wet, it is not ideal fall weather. Let's see if ntTV Sydney Johnson has any good news about how it's feeling outside. Sydney?
Thank you, Grace, and good afternoon, UNT. Really quick, let's take a look at our current conditions. Outside, the weather right now is around 39 degrees. It feels around 40. Although it may not feel like it, the sun is shining bright, and we have wind speeds of around 7 miles per hour. Later on tonight, that temperature is going to drop to 27 degrees. It will feel around 24. The skies will be fairly clear with a little bit of clouds, and those wind speeds will stay constant at 7 miles per hour. Later on tomorrow, we're looking at a temperature of around 56 degrees. It will actually feel around 55. The sun will still be shining bright despite the chilly weather, and we'll have wind speeds around 9 miles per hour. Later on tonight and early into the morning, there will be a freeze warning issued. So if you guys are planning on being up and out early in the morning, make sure you are prepared and bundled up. That's all I have for our first look. I'll be right back for weather in just a second. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative contract agreement that could end a 6-week-long strike. The agreement is similar to those set with Ford and Jeep maker Stellantis last weekend. The deals will last over 4 years and include a 30% increase in wage and cost of living. UAW members will receive more increase in wage in the next 4.5 years than they have in the last 22 years combined. Union presidents call this deal a turning point in the class war that has been raging in the U.S. for the past 40 years. The strike began on September 15th. At the peak, 46,000 UAW workers were on strike, about a third of the total UAW workers at the 3 companies.
Coming up, emotions rise in the Texas House as they debate bills that would up border security.
And people around the world are grieving the loss of a beloved actor.
Did you know you have access to video equipment like DVDs, video games, and cameras? That's right, you do. Come on down to Chilton Library and fulfill your media dream. Located on the bottom floor next to the student sculpture. Hope to see you there soon. Hey girl, you know you look good. I like the way you move and groove. I'm not sure.
the State House, emotions and tempers flare over Abbott's border policies. The outburst came after Cody Harris, representative of the Texas 8th District, motioned to block a new amendment that would limit the debate time on the immigration bill. The bill will create a new criminal offense for illegal entry into Texas from Mexico and would detain, then order migrants to return back to Mexico. The Wednesday debate lasted into the early morning hours of Thursday. In cell phone video, Armando Whale, representative of the Texas 140th District, spoke out on the motion, saying that the legislation would put Latino families, including his own, in danger.
Being attacked on a daily basis.
They can't stand on this bill.
I've been sitting there my whole time listening to y'all mother. It pisses me off. None of y'all mother know this, bro. You're my friend, man.
All these
I love
cowards.
You, but this hurts. The that happens on these guys hurts. I can't go to a border.
Following the fiery debate, the Texas House approved Governor Abbott's border security package. Other priorities from the governor include bills to increase penalties for smuggling people into the state and appropriating $1.5 billion to build a border wall.
Election Day is coming up fast on Tuesday, November 7th, and apart from 14 proposed amendments to the state constitution, there are 8 bond propositions for Denton on the ballot. Totaling $309 million, these bonds include projects on road repairs and expansions, drainage and flood control, funding for both the city park system and public safety, affordable housing, a new active adult center, a new South Branch library, and City West Hall renovations. So be sure to go out there and vote. Well, Sydney, we have barely had one full week of fall and it is already feeling like winter.
I know. At the beginning of the semester, I really wish for the cold. I take it all back now. Let's go to our weather reporter, Sydney Johnson, for the full weather report. Sydney?
Thank you, Sydney. And although we are starting to get just a glimpse of weather, the winter weather here in Denton, we cannot say that it is officially winter just yet. Majority of our major cities in the area are reaching our high 30s and low 40s. We have officially gotten out of our flood warning, but with that come in the cold weather. As you can see, we have McKinney and Dallas still coming in at our warmest areas at the moment at 40 degrees. Really quickly, let's take a look at our weather across the state. We have majority of our areas still reaching in that area that we were talking about before. Shreveport and Houston are going to be a little bit warmer than the other areas we have in mid-Texas while they're still by that water. And really quickly, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Now, as you can see, it's going to be pretty cool Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. We don't have any rain, but as we get later on into the week, those temperatures are going to skyrocket again, getting us out of the 60s and into those high 70s and 80s. If you guys plan on going out for Halloween, make sure you are bundled up and prepared and stay safe and get ready for that warmer weather later on in the week. That's all I have for weather right now. Thanks. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. Beloved actor Matthew Perry has died of an apparent drowning. Police are investigating, but foul play is not suspected at this time. Perry was best known for his role as Chandler Bing in the sitcom Friends. The 54-year-old actor wrote a memoir last year that detailed his battle with alcohol and pills. Perry went to rehab more than a dozen times and underwent 14 surgeries related to his drug use. A statement released from Warner Brothers called Perry a gifted actor, an indelible part of the Warner Brothers television group family. The statement included how Perry's comedic genius was felt around the world and his legacy will continue to live on in the hearts of so many.
It's Hallows Eve and we have some tips that might keep you safe on Halloween night.
And it's not too late to make a Halloween-themed pumpkin. We'll have more when we come back.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
All right, look up here. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The White House is once again ready for trick-or-treaters. Though First Lady Mame Eisenhower was the first to have the executive mansion decorated for Halloween, the Kennedy White House was the first to see trick-or-treaters. Halloween celebrations at the White House have seen 65 years and 13 presidents go by. The Bidens will welcome trick-or-treaters to the White House on Monday to celebrate Halloween. The invite list includes local students and children from military families. Representatives from government agencies will be on hand to help pass out candy.
Are you a college student looking to get into some Halloween fun? With no curfew, all the candy you want, and drinks, the night could be a mixture for trouble. We have some tips to help keep your Halloween safe. First, do not let anyone who has been drinking drive home. Have a ride set up or call an Uber. If you see someone overdosing on alcohol or drugs, it is critical to call 911. The 911 Good Samaritan law states that a person is immune from criminal prosecution for an offense when the person reports, in good faith, an emergency drug or alcohol overdose, even to a law enforcement officer, to the 911 operator, or to a medical provider. Use the buddy system. Do not leave each other or get separated, and set a time and location to meet up if you do. In addition, let an RA or parent know who and where you're going with in the case of an emergency. Watch your drink at all times. Do not drink out of a punch bowl or take any drinks you haven't seen someone pour. If you are hosting a party, make sure to have a plan to keep things under control. Agree on a guest list with roommates and considering hiring security to prevent issues. And lastly, avoid choosing highly realistic props. Law enforcement is on high alert Halloween night, and you do not want to risk being confused with an actual criminal. For emergencies on Halloween night, dial 911. UNT Police can be contacted at 940-565-3000. We hope everyone has a spooktacular Halloween night.
If you feel like you might have missed out on the Halloween festivities, don't worry, because UNT's UPC still has a couple of events planned.
That's right. Our live shot reporter, Paisley McGee, has the scoop about a pumpkin painting event happening today on campus. Paisley?
Thank you, guys. So before Spooktober officially comes to an end, the UPC is hosting a free pumpkin painting event in the Union. The UPC is offering a mix of both fake and real pumpkins for students to paint. These pumpkins will make great fall decorations going into November. You could even set your pumpkin outside on your front porch to scare away your neighbors. This event will be here in room 333 from 12 to 2 p.m. So I'm about to go paint myself a pumpkin. So I'm Paisley McGee, signing out. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Paisley. As the World Series is underway, Sydney, how do you feel about your hometown team not making it in this year?
It's very heartbreaking to see, and I do love baseball, and I wish they would have, God, we're able to go back this year, but I will be going to a game, and I will be wearing my Houston Astros jersey to support my team. Let's go to our sports anchor, Omar Martinez, because if I'm not wrong, I believe he's an Astro fan as well. Omar, what do you have for us?
Well, I think I might be a Rangers fan this Halloween because of the World Series, but I don't know what I'm a fan of. But I am a fan of sports, so stick around after the break as we talk about the great Halloween weekend us North Texas sports fans had.
Man, I have all these non-perishable food items, and I don't know what to do with them.
I don't have any food at all.
Do you have too many non-perishable goods?
Yeah.
Have you run out of food and can't get any more?
Yeah.
Well, don't have a cow. Head on down to the UNT Food Pantry. Located behind Crumley Hall and Diamond Eagle Student Resource Center, the Food Pantry is the place for UNT students to get all the food they need. You'll be utterly surprised by all the options they have there. From gluten-free to lactose intolerant, even vegan and vegetarian, they have it all. Go to studentaffairs.unt.edu/foodpantry for more information.
Move on down to the UNT Food Pantry.
What does Talons do?
So I am the Vice President of External Relations for Talons. That means that I basically oversee all the external committees. Our external committees entail our Model A, it's a Mean Green Machine. So they bring it to football games especially, so every game it's kind of there, every home game. The Model A is like a symbol of UNC pride, and it's a big tradition that we are so lucky to uphold and maintain. When people look at it, they see it, and they're like, oh, that's the Mean Green Machine. There must be a game today or something to ramp up school spirit for basketball, softball, volleyball, any of those things. We have amazing teams, so we just want to show school spirit for them. Bonfire Committee, which is in charge of putting together the bonfire every year for homecoming. It's kind of just a whole semester-long process up until Build Week that we have to put together and oversee and make sure safety regulations are followed and risk management is taken care of. Cannon Crew, which oversees and takes care of the cannon. They fire it at games, they take it to special occasions.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
An American ice hockey standout playing overseas for the Nottingham Panthers has died after a skate blade slashed his throat during a match on Saturday. Adam Johnson, age 29, collided with an opponent and suffered a serious cut to the neck. Johnson tried to get to the bench but lost consciousness on his way. The local ambulances were sent out around 8:21 p.m. 4 minutes later, the Yorkshire police were confirmed of Johnson's passing. Around 8,000 fans saw the nightmare collision live, and the match was immediately postponed, as well as all the games from yesterday's slate. Johnson was a former NHL player who played for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he also previously played in Sweden and Germany before joining the Panthers. The Elite Ice Hockey League, NHL, and hockey fans all over the world joined in tribute as they mourned the loss of Adam Johnson. Now switching gears to the local area, what a weekend for North Texas sports as all teams won this weekend. The Rangers beat the Diamondbacks on Game 1 of the World Series. The Dallas Mavericks start the NBA season with 2 wins against the Spurs and the Nets. The Dallas Cowboys are keeping it hot in this cold weather as they demolished the Los Angeles Rams 43-20. The boys dominated all 3 phases of the game as they became the first team ever to score a defensive touchdown, defensive safety, and a blocked punt in a single game. Dak Prescott balled out as he had his 6th career game with 300 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, and CeeDee Lamb benefited the most as he had a career high in receiving with 158 yards. The Cowboys are now 5-2 and have a pivotal matchup next week with the division rival Philadelphia Eagles. And I might have lied a little on that last segment as the Rangers did lose Game 2 on Saturday, but did it really happen if we forget about it? Let's just focus on the important things here. The Rangers are playing baseball in November. World Series, baby, the Fall Classic is finally here in Globe Life Field. Adolis Garcia welcomed it with a walk-off home run late in extra innings. Unfortunately, the Rangers did blow it in the second game, but that will not matter if the Rangers take care of business tonight in Game 3 in Arizona. Historically, teams who take a 2-1 advantage in a best-of-7 series have won more than 70% of those series, so tonight is must-watch baseball. Scherzer will be taking the mound for the Rangers tonight, which is fitting since it's Halloween Eve, and his pitching has been scary for Rangers fans. Let's hope the Rangers bats wake up, and that's all I have for sports. Take it back to the desk.
This month is Blind Equality Achievement Month, and to celebrate, 2 women took to the air to skydive blind. CNN's Erica Craven reports.
Exactly what Shannon Britt and Jennifer Blinsman are doing at Skydive Suffolk. But to understand why, we'll start back on the ground. The day started with a few laughs.
And I get to drive, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to close my eyes, too.
And detailed instructions.
All right, so at about 13,000 feet, the door's going to open up. You'll know the door's opening up because you'll feel some wind on your face, okay?
Shannon and Jennifer have been planning to jump from this plane.
It's been a dream to do forever.
This is something not a lot of people think to do, so we're going to do it.
And they're doing it blind.
Everything's pretty much shadow and light.
With Shannon's guide dog Adele and other members of the Tidewater chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Virginia cheering them on. The jump comes during Blind Equality Achievement Month, where folks spread awareness of stigmas and barriers and showcase examples where everyone can pursue a full measure of happiness. It's clear the jump was a happy one.
When you first drop out of the plane, you're breathless. And then you just kind of like, I don't know, you get this weightless free fall, like, I can't even explain it.
I'm shocked I actually did it. It was a lot of fun.
Because blindness is a spectrum, Shannon caught a glimpse of the world on the way down.
Because I saw some reflection, and he said there was like lakes or bodies of water that it was possibly the reflections.
But it was an experience for every sense.
What I really just felt mostly was just the wind rushing.
And with a safe landing, they both said they'd love to skydive again.
I won't lie, skydiving looks really cool. Would y'all ever want to go?
I'm down to go. Are you?
I would absolutely go.
I wouldn't. I'm not trying to pay money to fall off a plane. They'd have to pay me.
Oh my goodness. Well, if it's going to be an ntTV thing, it's really 3 against 1, so you kind of have no choice.
Nah, skydiving is scary.
Thank you for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon for our Halloween special here on North Texas Television.